Nature, art, people, and reimagination. There's something that hides within the realm where these elements are brought together. There are infinite possibilities and opportunities that can be created by using all these elements, with a little bit of creativity, to change the course of the environment around us, to not just protect but sustain the life that we're given and for future generations to come.
My name is Siddharth, and I am a partner at Bangalore Creative Circus. Here at BCC, we are looking to create a community center that is centered on the idea of inspiring and enabling a more sustainable way of living. We really are drawn to what Albert Einstein said. He said something to the effect of, "No problem can be solved by the same consciousness that created it in the first place." So in some sense, everything that we do here is born out of this sense of creativity, of innovation and reimagination, because we find that imperative for problem solving in general. So what the approach that we've adopted here is to essentially have conversations with different change makers that have now turned into collaborators that have helped us to create this space. We've turned what used to be a tiles factory into a community center, largely using recycled material, and the space acts not just as a space for people to come together and form like-hearted communities, but also as a demonstration site for different solutions. And to name a few, we are exploring the idea of constructing using waste. So a lot of the embodied energy of the space is minimized because we've largely renovated and constructed using recycled, upcycled and repurposed materials. We're also looking on a day-to-day basis to reduce our operational energy, and one of the ways that we do that is to reduce our consumption of electricity, of fossil fuels in some sense, which is firstly opening our space out to natural light. So for those of you that have been to the space, you will see that until it actually gets dark, we don't require any lights to light up our space. But the thing with light is that it also brings in heat. So what we've done to negate the heat is to integrate a whole host of ecological and passive solutions that do not require the use of electricity. The biggest of which is the integration of plants wherever we can. So we are in an industrial area, and the building that we're in is also quite a large shed. It's about 20,000 square foot of a warehouse. So it is prone to attracting a lot of heat, but by the usage of plants, the usage of appropriate technologies like cross ventilation, turbine vents that release the hot air through the roof, also using a specific paint that reflects a lot of the direct sun away from our building, we've been able to negate some of that heat. So Bangalore Creative Circus is a dream that was essentially set into motion by one person who is a former corporate lawyer by the name of Ajay. And now we're a small partnership firm of 5 members, along with a much larger extended community that supports and designs everything that we do in the space. But the intention and the vision of the space really was born out of this recognition that a lot of the knowledge, solutions and the services to solve the problems of the world today already exist. but the real problem lay with the lack of access to these knowledge or this solution. So the idea really was to create a one-stop shop in some sense, or one space or a community center where diverse people can come and access diverse opportunities, whether it's information or community or events or a specific skill set or a specific type of experience. And the only way for us as a limited team to do this was through collaboration and kind of buying into the idea that a lot of these solutions already exist. Our hope or our approach from the very beginning was to start by having these conversations with these various change makers, and they came in the form of chefs, gardeners, artists, architects, landscape designers, illustrators, writers, or just people that are passionate about change. So some of them are even activists. And this list is a never-ending list, and the growth of the space is in some sense ever evolving. And we recognize that constantly, that the space is very much the energy that is put in by the various contributors. Of the 5 partners that created this space, I mentioned Ajay was a corporate lawyer, Manisha is from the space of marketing, Alok is from the space of real estate, and then the other 2 are both Siddharths, one of which I am, are from the space of events, and I also studied to be a lawyer. So in some sense, we're a very diverse and eclectic team that have been brought together by a common intention of creating positive change in the world.
This is nice.
Yeah, I really like this. Yeah. Yeah, so my name is Madhuri, and I think the first time I came to BCC was to do like this installation that I've done downstairs. There was like this hand-poked tattoo festival that was happening, and they had like an artist painting jam, but I just wanted to do something else, so I took old cassette tapes to make like this Beatles installation. And yeah, since then I've been in touch with BCC and gotten a lot of opportunities to create a lot more as well. So I work with many different mediums. I don't restrict myself to one particular thing. So yeah, cassette tapes is one thing that I've worked extensively with here. And yeah, more recently, I think I've done like a few installations for the Wellbeing Festival. Just installations to sort of create more mental health awareness. One is using 3D glasses, one is like a Morse code portrait, and another one is like a series of alphabets that denote different influences on mental health. So yeah, that's the most recent project that I've done with BCC, and hoping to do much more as well.
Sorry, I'm Jain. Myself Raghu and Kamesh. So yeah. BCC contacted me. Yeah, we came in for like we got to know about BCC because of this project. So and then
before that I was a resident over here, and like this place was not ready yet, so we wanted some area over here because this is like much more like a private space. So we thought of building something very earthy. That's how we came into this idea. Yeah, that's how we started making this.
I'm a sculpture background, so I like basically from CKP I studied sculpture. So after that I've been doing my own like project builders and everything. So this was a part of the project we got to BCC also. And finally everybody came together and started.
And this is my first this big metal sculpture. I haven't done anything in sculpture yet.
And later we built the makerspace also here. So next makerspace obviously. Experience, work experience.
Yeah, it is very current experience.
How long did this project take, like from start to finish?
3 months.
Like if we say properly,
We didn't work like continuously on it, right? So like like working time is like probably around
7
2
about
months, 2 months, 3
2
months, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
We thought of something else, we ended up something else.
So my own personal story is that I studied here in Bangalore to be a lawyer. I never really pursued law as a profession because of other opportunities that presented themselves. But through my experience of work and of life in general, like there was a deep sense of disillusionment with let's say the dominant influences on our lives, and in some sense they can be expanded to in some way look at concerns of how our cities are designed, the inequalities that exist therein, our relationships with ourselves, with nature at large, with each other as communities. And there was a deep calling to explore what lay ahead beyond careers and professions, right? And so it was at a time in life where I was desperately looking for that connection to reconcile with these own inner explorations, but here in the city of Bangalore, which is my hometown, but was feeling more and more alienating to me, which is when I met Ajay, who was beginning this process of setting up BCC. And so it's been nearly 3 years now since then that we've worked together to set up this space. And I think the beauty of the space is that it really brings together the passion and the intention of various similarly intentioned people, and in that it brings in the diversity of all of our approaches and perspectives, and in that it makes it so much more holistic. And that was really the common intention of the space, right? For us not to be speaking our own voice or our own opinions, but then to have the community come together to create the energy of the space, but also the space physically. So what it has validated for me and what it has driven home for me is just what I previously believed in theory, is that a lot of the solutions exist, where it's just about bringing the people together to create what truly is a community, where they don't just learn from each other, but actually act as support systems for each other, and work together to amplify the potential of what they're creating. And in some sense, it's been very validating and gratifying to see that happen, but not just from a systemic lens or a change maker lens, but to see individuals, consumers like you and I, that are enthusiastic about these things, but are sometimes lost in terms of how to approach or address. It's really been inspiring to see them find a sense of belonging, to find a sense of support and inspiration in this space. And that happens day in and day out here, but especially when we have workshops and events that bring larger number of people here together. So I think that would be my one biggest takeaway, just to see a physical space really inspire a change in a local city ecosystem.